Welcome to my channel. This is a tarot reading for career and finance for Aries for 2020, and this will be for the month of April. I'll just give you a quick rundown of the layout. I know that a lot of it isn't very visible. Unfortunately, I am confined by some of my technical challenges here, so I'll try to pull the cards forward as I can. I actually, just because I have some more time, and of course there's a lot of issues going on around the world for coronavirus, and I am one of the people that is impacted in the same way. So I have a little more time to do the readings right now, and so I'll take advantage of that. So this is, again, just for the month of April for Aries 2020, and it's for career and finance. I don't tend to go into anything that relates so much to health issues. I tend to be more interested in, career and finance, because I feel that a lot of times how we deal with our finances and where we are financially impacts so many other areas of our life, in terms of relationships, business, or personal, and so on. And we are often very emotionally bound by our financial situations, meaning, when you're doing well, you're emotionally attached to that moment of doing well financially. When you're doing poor, in kind, the same level of highs and lows relate. So the whole point of, I feel, tarot is to try to find some middle ground and to take advantage of the high points and prepare yourself for the low points. So anyway, just getting into the reading itself, I'm using several decks here. So it's the fortune reading cards that I have, as well as the Archangel Power cards by Doreen Virtue and Radleek Valentine. Sharina Starr is the one for the fortune reading cards, as well as I'm using the Sacred Awakening deck. That one is by Sarah Esther Felix, and also the Angel Therapy cards, Doreen Virtue. And of course my Rider-Waite deck, which I really love. So anyway, to get into the reading, these are the main cards here. I have pulled some clarifiers. I did feel I wanted to get a lot of detail just because I also had more time. So again, there's a lot of detailed cards for clarifiers, and again, I have pulled other general reading cards which relate to the fortune reading cards, and again, that would be the card of the Fool, as well as the card of the Eagle. That is the fortune reading cards. And then I also have Visualizing Success, and again, these ones are also that's the Angel Therapy cards, as well as the Solar Plexus Chakra Angel Therapy. And these are, again, those ones are just general energies for the month of April, not specific to career and finance. If it overlaps, great, but again, it's just a little more general, to give you an idea of how it's affecting your relationships or other aspects of your life. And again, the other cards are the Sacred Awakening, and that would be this card here. So that's the Divine Union, as well as the Soul Glimpse card. And then again, as I mentioned, the Archangel Power Tarot cards. So you have the High Priestess, and then you have the Empress, and then you have the Peace card, and then you also have the King of Raphael. So what I'm generally picking up from the cards, just in a quick glance anyway, is that I do see for sure there is aspects of elements here about creativity and you getting on a project, and there's also elements of financial success. You do have some worries here, and it could be in regards to some kind of a legal matter. There is some relationship advice coming through here as well, and you're also going through some kind of a change. So this, you might have been coming out of some kind of a hermit mode, because you do actually have the Hermit card over there in the far right, but I know some of that's not all that visible. I'll shoot it over as I can as we get closer to that part of the reading. But I do feel that there's a lot of a spiritual awakening with your reading here, and there is definitely, as I say, some kind of new changes on the financial front, and it may even relate to your love front as well, your emotional relationship elements, just because, as I say, you're going through what seems to be a very large awakening, spiritual awakening. A lot of the Archangel cards spoke to that, as well as the Angel cards from Doreen Virtue. So, but anyway, just to get started, we'll start with the general reading first, and that would be, with the Fool card. So again, the Fool card says, have the courage to embrace change, take risks, and be adventurous. And I should mention, there were a couple of other cards that also spoke to that as well. So I'm seeing it resonate on more than one level. So you want to be aware of that. So in terms of the Fool card is also, you've got it in two areas here. So you've got the Fool card, which I just mentioned here, in one deck, and you also have the Fool card at the beginning of the Rider-Waite deck. So that emphasizes that. The Fool card is also a major arcana card, so it does indicate that this is a very significant impact, you know, on you for the month of April. So there is some definite large-scale changes happening internally. Most of this, I feel, is what's going on. But again, very large-scale changes. You do have a few pages in the reading. Some are just clarifiers, but pages and knights also indicate that there's some messages coming through, and they all are really at the start of April itself. There's a couple that are sort of midway, you know, through to the maybe the later part of the week, or even the middle of April. But those are the energies that are coming through. I mean, it may play out into, you know, further into the latter parts of the year, you know, as you go through April, May, that kind of thing. But at least just to give you some kind of a heads up that it is starting to take place in the month of April. And those messages are coming through in terms of money as well, and education, I see. So getting back to where we were with the Fool card. So as I mentioned, that was the Fortune card. So the Fool card, again, speaks to, you know, that time of unlimited potential. It's a need to get out on, set foot onto a new journey. You know, it's uncharted territories. It's things that you haven't done before. It's getting out of your comfort zone. It's being bold and daring and risking and being a little adventurous. So it does speak to new experiences, and it could even, you know, indicate that there's some travel. I haven't taken a really good hard look yet to see whether or not there was travel indicated there, but like if you've got other cards that spoke to travel or clarified, but at this point it does speak to travel. So again, travel could be just in you, you know, going out to a park or someplace that you don't normally go to or frequent. Could be an exotic destination. You could be traveling to somewhere a little more wild and a wider open space, but it does again speak to just you getting out and traveling somewhere that gives you some kind of peace of mind. And I also noticed that there was a couple of cards that also spoke to sports activities. So I don't know who this is relating to, but somebody likes sports here because it's come up a couple of times. So anyway, it's about you enjoying some new hobbies, and again, sporting activities, anything like that that's, you know, even a faster paced energy really surrounds that card with the Fool's Journey, because you're headed into uncharted territories, so you don't, you know, you're excited generally when you take a journey like that. You know, you're not heavily reserved and in a contemplative mode. You've decided something, you've made a decision. So anyway, it is about you having some kind of a restless energy. That could also even, you know, correlate to relationships with this card. But again, it's a restless energy. So again, could be in regards to relationships. If somebody's feeling, you know, a little clingy and you don't feel that you're getting enough excitement, you know, you feel like maybe you're being bound in some way or prevented from being your full self. But just in terms of relationships, that's where that would lay. And as far as career and money, you're going through a stage where you are reinventing yourself. So it's about learning new skills. And this is also a card of learning new skills with the Page of Pentacles coming through. But again, the Fool is also about learning new skills and again, reinventing yourself. So you have lots of cards, as I said, speaking to you going through some kind of transformation, some kind of spiritual awakening. Whatever April is for you, it is generally your birthday month for most of you, and so it definitely speaks to some kind of major change that you are arriving at. So again, that Fool is about having the courage to embrace those changes and take those risks. And again, that goes with taking that time to improve yourself as well. And again, there was a couple of cards in here that also spoke to improving yourself. So it seems like it's an all-encompassing month for you to start a lot of these new things, new jobs, new projects, new makeovers, hairdo, clothing, whatever, things along that line, because you are in a stage where you are now attracting those opportunities. And that's, again, at the start of April. So the next card is the Eagle card. And again, the Eagle card is speaking to you will soar, and that'll be towards your destiny with greater clarity and strength. So, you are moving forward here. You are no longer, feeling like you need to hold yourself back. That is also a card of spiritual protection and knowledge. It's you being more connected to your guides. So that, as I said, there's lots of cards here that speak to you being really becoming much more trustworthy and awakened. So it is about being able to, if you were thinking of yourselves in terms of an eagle, you're surveying the grounds, you're able to stand back, you're able to, have keener vision and look at a situation and see where you actually have the freedom to move. You don't want to miss your chances with these cards, when you're in a time of power. And this is really about strength, power, and that wisdom and that courage to get you going with the Eagle card. So, you might have been recovering from some kind of trauma or bad luck or something that, you were indecisive about that brought you into a stage of poor choices. But you have to believe in that Eagle's power, because this is where you are. This is where you stand now. So all the obstacles that you had were really bringing you closer to your own goals. And so you have to be confident and just charge through, with your rational mind, but making sure that you stay connected in your spiritual, to your spiritual self, and being guided by your inner core, because if you don't trust that, you tend to be led down some harder roads. We all get the obstacles and challenges, but the harder the road is really dependent on how much you're listening to your spirit and your guides. So the more you block out and the more stressed out you are, which is also will cause blockages, it's going to be harder for you to resolve a problem. But I don't see a lot of that holding you back right now, not for the month of April anyway. So, at this time, you're really becoming much more charismatic and attractive. It's about you taking that leap forward in your progress for career and money. And again, that's what the Fool is as well. That speaks to, jumping ahead and taking that leap of faith. And again, it's just reiterated between the Eagle and the two Fool cards, strongly emphasized here. So again, it's just about you having keen insights and just that freedom to go forward. So take advantage. Next card here would be, I think we'll go with the Doreen Virtue Angel cards. So that one says, see yourself doing well in this situation and have faith in a positive outcome. So that's visualizing success. And so in visualizing success, you want to be able to, slow yourself down. Meditation's a great way to do that as well. But see yourself doing well and having the faith in that positive outcome. So boosting your confidence, just to try to get rid of your worries, because at this time, worries and anxiety and stress, and of course you do have some of these cards here with the 9 about you being defensive and, sores being up in your head and stressed out, that kind of thing. But still, it's about taking action with the 9s. But again, those are cards that speak to, some anxiety and you holding yourself back. And I know you can't see it on the other side, but you also have an 8 of Swords, but it's a clarifier for the Knight of Cups, and a 5 of Wands, and those are about inner battles, that kind of thing, inner struggles. So again, you are coming to some kind of spiritual awakening here, but you are battling yourself to get there. So, basically when you expect the best, you inspire the best in yourself and others. And so this situation is just about you having faith, having a firm vision, for that successful outcome. So again, some of the action steps that you can take, with the visualizing success card, would be to, think of whatever gives you a sense of calm, where you can actually sit down and focus. I don't know if you've got children and this kind of thing, if you can actually sit down, focus on a candle, and just try to just focus on that one point to help you to paint a blank canvas, where you're actually just seeing the flame, or you're able to see in your mind's eye by closing your eyes a blank white canvas in your mind. And that makes a wonderful focal point, which will help you to clarify what it is that you imagine to be beautiful. How do you see and feel everyone is involved in your life? Are they happy? How do you make that situation in your mind's eye happy and, safe and secure? How do you feel in your body? What makes you feel safe and secure? Basically, it's about, how do you tap into that infinite wisdom and love? So again, it's about putting things into perspective and having a clear vision. So that is the Visualize Success card. Solar Plexus is the next one. So that's this card here. So the Solar Plexus card says it's safe for you to be powerful and to take charge of your life in positive ways. So again, lots of reaffirming cards here letting you know that you're going in the right direction. You just need to have a little more belief in yourself. So again, this is about, things being, you're being helped. You're being helped by the angels concerning that power and control. I think sometimes when we feel really overly, I want to just reuse the word power and control, but I mean, sometimes when we feel like we're overly strong, we come off really abrasive, and that sometimes forces us to go inward when we don't get the response that we want. The card is telling you basically, or spirit is coming through to let you know that, you are a powerful soul. You are definitely very powerful. And, but it is about finding that balance. So it's safe for you to use your power, but use it in a loving way. So meaning that, the people that you truly love and respect, those are the ones that you want to be able to balance your power around. You don't want to take advantage and use your power in an abusive way, because again, that creates another karmic energy that comes back. Maybe not right away, but it definitely comes back later. And why bother? I mean, the whole point is to create some balance in this life and to keep moving forward and to be optimistic while you do it. You can't control everything, but the one thing that you can control are your reactions. So just to remember that no one else is controlling you or can control you without your permission. So you always have those options and choices. And it's really about, you just believing that your power can be used in a constructive way. Because sometimes we equate the idea of power with a negative connotation, which can cause us to behave in a negative way, thinking, well, this is how all managers act. This is how all strong people behave, because they have this much power and influence over other people and they're socially connected. You have to be careful with that, because the longer you maintain that level of authority, yes, people will respect you on some level and fear you possibly, but again, it also means that down the road, they start to distrust if it doesn't help to benefit them, your power. Because if you make false promises, or you make, how do I say, if you're not standing in your true authority, meaning your values, your word is not solid, you're going to create a train effect of irreparable damage to a degree, right? Because people won't trust you. They won't feel that you're standing in your integrity. I don't know how to shortcut that, but anyway, that's what I'm trying to say. So the next card is related to divine union. And I think that one pretty much is self-explanatory, but divine union is really about that unconditional love and that deep compassion, for that basic energy connecting to the universe, all that is. It's that limitless energy. It's when two people or two connecting things are so tightly bound that their passions are channeled together. And you could experience this in terms of a physical relationship, in that kundalini idea where, energy sort of flows through and then catapults into some kind of expansion for you in that divine union, in that moment. It could also, embrace that because when you're in that physical connection where everything just seems so pure and perfect and passionate and intentional, you lose that separation between your mind, body, and spirit. Everything just dissolves, and it becomes this harmonious union of, what we consider ideal love, or maybe even it's just a soulful experience. So you're just feeling much more centered in your masculine and your feminine. And I think sometimes, as I mentioned earlier, when you stand in your power, sometimes we veer too much into the masculine and forget that we are also, of both energies. And so when you balance them out, that's where you actually have your most sacred, purposeful energy that is going out into the world in a positive way to impact you, to come back to you, as well as those that you're involved around. So it's, again, letting go of those separate identities of the masculine and feminine, and just to embrace them both. You don't need to be, there's plenty of queens that have strong authority, that lead with heart. There's plenty of kings, that can be very rational minded and lead in their power. But when you combine the two together, it really is something very sacred and unique. And this is the kind of awareness that you're moving into, which is really, really powerful for you, Aries. So the next card is the Soul Glimpse card. And this one is, again, there we go. So the Soul Glimpse card is, again, part of that sacred awakening. And that one is about you unfolding your wings. You're going beyond that physical existence. As I mentioned, you're awakening to that divine aspect of yourself, that spark of the conscious, the unconscious. Everything is coming together. We're here having that earthly experience, and you're able to bravely listen to both your soul as well as live in the physical world. And that's a really harmonious balance, if you can find that. So you have accepted, that you have this inner wisdom that you can use to merge with the physical world. And in that sense, it goes beyond that time-space continuum. It's that pathway to enlightenment. It's where you're able to shine in the center of it all. So that is, as I mentioned, that powerful time of that spiritual awakening. It is a soul's glimpse into, your beginning journey. And again, the more that you stay in that space, the easier things become. As you go forward and you take on challenges and obstacles, they don't seem as heart-wrenching or as painful or as disturbing or jarring, because you know that you're going to find a solution. You trust in the divine, and the more that you trust, the more solutions you come up with, and the more solutions you come up with, obviously, the more success rate, the more confident. So moving on to the next general energy for the month of April for Aries, it's the High Priestess. So that is the powerful psychic insights. Again, all of it speaking to you really being empowered here. Reflection and meditation that provides valuable information, and to be at peace. So again, with that card, it's really just about you connecting all over the place. The High Priestess is one of the highest ranking cards in the deck as well, for all of the decks here. But it's basically telling you that the answers that you seek are within you. So they can't be found in your intellect, but it is instead, you going into your deepest feelings, and that's where you're going to find your insights. That's where there is that intuitive psychic message that's coming through. And if you treat it seriously and with great respect, then you can eventually find a strong degree of confidence in it. So you might even be getting dreams, or things come to you, in symbols or repeated patterns, or, something seems a little deja vu, but it's basically about you being aware of some of those synchronicities that are coming up for you. So again, you hold the keys to your understanding what actions to take, especially profound for the month of April. And, there may be aspects of that situation, whatever it is that might be concerning you for the month of April, that you're unaware of. But that enlightenment will be there if you stay focused, stay calm, get out of your head, because it's not really quite a time for action in the, necessarily throughout the entire month, but it is a time where you are about to take action here. So things will start to line up, the events and things start to unfold perfectly. If you just remain patient and peaceful, and just remember that your guidance is not failing you. You are led by your unconscious, the subconscious, and it's also speaking to the willingness to forgive. So again, it's that mystery and the awe of the universe that is allowing you to feel that sense of confidence. So just, yeah, as they say, let things unfold as they will. The next card is the Empress. And that is time to act upon your plans. Creativity is rewarded. Luxurious or abundant resources. So again, you're just coming into a space now where you're able to go forward. So the universe is encouraging you to create. And again, even with the Page of Wands at the beginning of the reading, that's also speaking to that as well, that it is the power to create. And again, so is the Empress here. So that is about an abundant time. It is about a birth of an idea, the ability to manifest amazing things, whatever it is that you're tapping into, whether it's writing or painting, or maybe you're just, you're really wanting to get out there and socialize and be more impactful and delivering some kind of message to people. This is the time for you to be able to do that. And if you focus on whatever it is that's important to you, whether it's family or relationships, children, that kind of thing, then you are actually assured of a happy outcome. So it's not a question of whether or not you will putting in the effort. It's actually letting you know that beginning in the month of April, whatever you focus on is where you're actually going to see some significant positive changes. So if it's career endeavors, it'll also prove to be successful. If it's art, it's a rewarding time. If it's concerned about physical or emotional well-being, all of those problems are going to start to fade away, because that ability for you to nurture is now prominent. It's at the forefront. It's a time to move forward. It's prosperous. It's about, the planting of the seeds is now starting to develop into a flourishing garden. So it's that determination to get things done with the Empress. So moving on past that, you have the next card is Peace, and the Peace card here lets you know to release the past. So there is more enriching future coming. Let go and let God. So whatever God is for you. But again, it does let you know that it is a time where you are going through a tremendous transformation. April is letting you know that it seems like you're healing from something, because when there's this much divine energy, this much transformation, this much enlightenment and awakening, there's something you're healing from here. But you are leaving that past behind, and it's letting you know that that experience no longer serves you. You've outgrown that phase of your life, and you're ready to move forward. There is that new adventure before you, and you have to enrich yourself with purpose, and allow yourself to evolve like that caterpillar into the butterfly, as they say. So it is telling you that the time has changed things for you, and it is letting you know that you have a sense of relief that's coming forward here. There might have been some feelings of sadness also, but it is a compassionate time for you. And during this period of that transition, it's time to experience any and all of those emotions, and then just let them gracefully, lovingly, allow yourself to say, I had a wonderful time. I had whatever it was that you're having to let go of. Now you're able to kind of reset and say to yourself that it no longer is resonating for you in the same way that it had in the past. You're releasing some kind of pain. So the last card here is the King of Raphael. And this is a card, yes, it is safe to trust the ability to accomplish many things at once and follow your creative passions. So the King of Raphael, again, is, this is a prominent card. So this is somebody who's in an authority of sorts, and it's safe to trust. It's telling you that you have that ability to indulge in your music or art or whatever it is that, that you're focusing on, career, whatever it might be, whatever is really driving your heart, whatever makes a difference for you, whether, again, if it's love or family or whatever, or socializing, and involving more people in your life. But it's also speaking to somebody who's a warm, generous person who understands the human nature and who takes romantic relationships and close friendships very seriously. This could be a person that's around you, it could be yourself, but it is somebody who is a humanitarian, somebody who is honorable, refined, chivalrous, and somebody who's highly regarded, somebody who's known to be a peacemaker, even a father figure. And again, they could have an interest in the healing arts. So again, that's somebody that's around you, that's coming through, that you can trust. So getting right into the reading here. Okay, so as I mentioned before, I've pretty much gone through, the bits about the Fool as your beginning card. But I also just wanted to make a quick reference to some of the other cards in your reading that relate to the pages, because pages are messengers. You do have 2 pages here in the reading, and the 2 pages indicate, usually something relating around universities or education or new learning or new job, that kind of thing, new opportunities coming through. When you have a lot of knights, it represents old friends. Pages can represent new friends coming in. But in terms of the knights, I think I saw 2 of them here. There's one at the far end, which I'll shift it over later here, but it's near to the Ace of Pentacles there in the corner. It's the Knight of Cups, and I know I saw another one here, I believe. Okay, maybe we'll, oh, there it is. It's the Knight of Wands, and it is a clarifier for the Ace of Pentacles. So again, 2 knights in a business reading, would relate to working with people from the past, that kind of thing. And it's also about messages coming through, and it is about timing, direction, that kind of thing. So one is clarifying something in the past, the other is moving forward with the future. So I'll just start back to the pages, and again, the page. Oh, and also, sorry, I also wanted to quickly mention something in terms of the wands here as well. The 9 of Wands and the 9 of Swords. So 9s also speak to, as I mentioned, actions. So the 9 is really about completeness. It is about taking your courage and being self-confident and moving forward with it. So it's about using your wisdom. So I just wanted to let you know, even though these both, indicate that you're on the defense in some way, you are still able to take action because you've got 2 9s, so it is really magnified. It's significant. They are still minor arcana, so it's not as significant as and impactful as a major arcana card would be, but it still is something that is significant enough that you're going to know that you're taking action, moving forward confidently, despite your feelings of being stressed out and doubting yourself. So, okay, moving on to, and also just wanted to mention with the 2 9s, it also speaks to that impractical idealism or being overly serious. So whatever, I would say in this case, it's really about you being overly serious, just because I do see further over to the right there other cards that relate to, like I said, the 8 of Swords, which is showing a progression from the 8 to the 9, that it's something that you've been dealing with in April from the beginning part, because this is toward the latter part of the end really of April, and the 8 of Swords is toward the beginning, middle beginning. And then it was clarified by the 8 of Wands, which is battling the self. Anyway, I digress. Okay, so back to Page of Wands. Sorry, I tend to ramble. Okay, anyway, back to the Page of Wands. Again, that's really just about a message coming through, about changing your perspective here as well, because it's clarified with the Hanged Man. But the Page of Wands is a fire energy, so it is really something telling you that at the beginning of the month, you're really in a stage of thinking about new opportunities and taking that leap of faith, and focusing on the 3 of Pentacles, craftsmanship and teamwork and involving other people, being more socially active, that kind of thing, and also involving people in more skilled areas. It's about a combination of knowledge. You're combining talents from other people and somehow connecting it to yourself. Or combining your own talents and energies, but it's multiple knowledge bases here coming through with the 3 of Pentacles, and that's a clarifier for the Fool. But again, with the Page of Wands and the Hanged Man, that's really about new opportunities. It's about that creative enthusiasm, confidence, moving forward, something that needs expression here. So again, whether you're an artist or if you're just trying to, work through some area of your life that you needed to develop. But again, in terms of finances, it does speak to, things moving in that creative direction. And it is coming through by you creating it, because this card in itself speaks to I create. And so when you're creating it, it's not luck coming in with it, it's you manifesting it. So this card is someone who is excitable, has lots of energy behind this project. Could be a passion project. It does speak to limitless potential. And again, it's just about that it's just about a new opportunity that's coming through here and your ability to make that launch. So moving on, as I mentioned, I already went through the Fool card there and the Three of Pentacles. Then we went to, it kind of jumps down into the Justice card, and it was clarified by the King of Pentacles. So King of Pentacles, again, I mean, that can be, that authority figure coming through. It's a businessman, somebody who's, quite well off, somebody who's secure, with himself, somebody who has a strong energy. Somebody who's kind of reached a pinnacle of success, but it's also in clarifying with the Justice card, it's really, it's just about strengthening that resolve that some kind of justice is being dealt here as well. But again, if it's a person, it can speak to a competent, responsible person, whether it's you or another person, but somebody who has that financial, that financial Midas touch, somebody who has that ability to reach the top. And then, as I say, it is a clarifier for the Justice card, and the Justice card is about being on the right path. It's about, success in a legal matter, and especially because it's followed by the Three of Cups. That's an emotional beginning, letting you know that there was some kind of success coming through there. So the Three of Cups is a celebration of sorts. It's about happiness. It is you're moving away from, with the Six of Swords, you're moving away from troubled times. Sixes are about finding that balance again and moving into, a more harmonious place. So again, with the Three of Cups, you're putting trust in others here. And again, there's lots of cards telling you to put trust in, start trusting again. So you must have pulled back and had some distrust or had some lack of faith in something, but it's telling you to trust again. There is that promise of success. You've got self-improvement still coming through with this card as well. But it is about good fortune, recognition. It's, and again, I feel it's tied in with this Justice card about something being balanced and in some kind of legal matter, because again, even though we're not quite there yet, it goes down on my next line here to speak to that with the Page of Pentacles as well. But anyway, moving past that, you are, as I said, Three of Cups is about that ability to widen your spirit of community and get involved again. And it's about reunions. You're feeling really well supported, victory in business, all of that goes with that. And again, you're also, the following card is the Four of Wands. And again, Wands energy, your fast incoming. That's about that happy home, that happy place. There was some anxiety around it at some point there, and certainly, like with the Seven of Cups, you might have had a lot of options or something there too. It could speak to that, but I feel in this case it was maybe some anxiety that it might have affected or impacted your family life in some way, that you weren't quite feeling grounded or centered, because the beginning of April speaks to some information maybe coming through around there. That maybe that you're learning of some kind of legal movement that was affecting maybe your stability here or your harmony in terms of happy family home, that kind of thing. But again, it's still about a financial reward coming through with this too. Things are coming back to you, blessings, celebrations, happy events. You're just dumping emotional baggage with that card. I mean, it is clarified with the Seven of Cups, and again, that's just about, feeling a lot of anxiety around family life. But it is followed by another Knight here. So the Knight of Pentacles speaks to a slow-moving energy coming through, and it is about slow-moving, but it's getting to your happiness card. Because the Ten of Cups is that ultimate happiness, feeling blessed, feeling like you've finally hit jackpot, you've finally been able to, get some kind of safe place here. This is really about things improving. You're starting to see that wish fulfillment come through. You've got cooperation from others in several areas here. With the Three of Pentacles, the Three of Cups. I mean, you've got connections here. So the balance is being restored. And even though it's a slow energy coming forward to that place, you will get there. So you also have a Libra energy coming through here with the Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords, again, it could speak to a person, but if it is a person, it's somebody who's really, really intuitive. It could also represent your intuitive nature, but it is somebody who's really on point, who's perceptive, who's creative, strong-willed, direct, to the point, that kind of person. But it can also represent that you're going through a difficult situation. So again, it does speak to you moving away from that. You do have some anxiety, but it also speaks to that difficult situation. But but it also speaks to being highly intuitive again. So just to rely on that. From another perspective, it could even speak to you being, whether you or somebody else around you, somebody who's really unstoppable. They could even be a little bit cold or crude just in the way that they approach things, just because they are so direct. But they are good mediators and negotiators, and they're certainly adaptable, and they're very open people. They're good at debating, and, it could be somebody who keeps secrets, that kind of thing too, although I don't see a lot of secretive cards around there, so I don't really think that's not really necessarily the energy of this person entirely, but, again, it's just somebody who tells it like it is. So moving on to the King of Swords. So the King of Swords is, again, somebody along that same line as well. They're a lawyer, figure of authority. It's whether this is you or an energy coming in around you, somebody who's realistic, rational, represents a Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius energy with this one here as well. Somebody who has fair judgment and who's capable and intellectual, that kind of thing. So lots of strong male energy coming through here. Normally energies are pretty neutral, but I get the feeling that there is, this is just really more about those energies being strong, because they are authoritative cards. The fact that you actually have two kings in here, is also something that's also something really noteworthy. But anyway, sorry, just adjusting my music a little bit here. Okay, so anyway, again, just in speaking to, the two kings, again, I don't see another one in here, but when we have two kings, and again, they're just clarifiers, but with the two kings does represent success. So success in some way. I'm not sure if we're talking about family or money, or because there's not loads of pentacles in the reading, but there is some pentacles. But it definitely feels as though, although you do have a Nine of Pentacles relating to independence here as well, but it just feels like it could be more along the line of overcoming some kind of, it still feels like energy of education and newness and opportunity in that way, something to do with the learning. But again, there's so much healing going on here. I would be inclined to say it's something along that line, because you have quite a few cups here too. But anyway, moving on. So again, it's success with two kings. You've got success of some sort coming through, whether it's emotional, physical, financial. There's some kind of success coming through. Again, moving into the last part, and I'm going to have to shift this over because I know you can't really see that Ace of Pentacles over here. But so there's the cards there. The Ace of Pentacles speaks to, again, new opportunities. It's a materialistic energy. It is one that is letting you know that, you do have new projects on the way there. I mean, it is security. It is about prosperity. It is about new beginnings, going deeper, into that journey. And it's just all around new beginnings, new energy, financial gain, all of that, that abundance. So again, I feel because this was clarified, the Pentacles was clarified with the Hermit card. The Hermit card is about highly intuitive card as well. So, I mean, it could be just you relying on your intuition to bring you to that point of stability. But, I mean, it also, represents you going into some kind of reclusive healing mode. So as much as there's going to be some team spirit and things that you might be planning, there's a part of you that still seems to be, or has been in a reflective period, where you had to heal. Because the Hermit is really about plans being on hold, you following through with divine guidance and soul searching. It's not about rushing ahead. It would have been about thinking long and hard about something before creating that stability. So, it is that period of enlightenment as well. And again, you have lots of cards here, especially toward the end of, well, actually, no, because the other cards were really general. So it could be throughout the whole of the reading that you're feeling this period of enlightenment. So, but again, it does speak to that going inward, self-reflection, hidden knowledge, things that you're finding out from just doing the soul searching, doing the work. And again, it was coupled with or clarified with the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands can also speak to a young energy. So it could be somebody who is youthful that's around you that influenced you or helped you to kind of get to that point. But the direction of that Knight of Wands, is, and again, it's a clarifier. It sort of gives me an indication that Hermit card is something that you were doing this work before. But again, it could very well be that it is a person, and if it is, it can also speak to energies again of extremes, positive and negative, and maybe with that soul searching card, that could have been you trying to again reinvent yourself. But as a person, it's somebody who loves to be loved, somebody who's really, adventurous and likes to, somebody who's very strong physical attraction and unreliable and restless and charismatic and seductive and that kind of thing. So it's somebody who's really impatient. But again, it does speak to high creativity here with that card as well. And again, finances are starting to look better. So it's not that things were ever a crash and burn situation here. It just looks like there's a lot of stability coming through is what I hear. And again, with the direction of the Knight, it was clarified again further that Ace of Pentacles with the Four of Cups. And again, that's just about you thinking that you've experienced some kind of a lack, that you didn't feel that you had enough or something was missing. But Four of Cups is, really your emotional self. So again, it's things about you not feeling fulfilled. And again, because it was clarified with the Hermit card, it does feel like this was where you were doing some inner work. That introspection, gave you a period of, has given you enlightenment, but it gave you some time to process problems, and what you can do about them, that kind of thing. So you might have been really recovering from something in the past. You might have been just being stubborn about something. But again, it's you considering all of your choices. And again, because there was the Seven of Cups, clarifying the Four of Wands back here, I mean, that could also reflect the same. So, you considering your choices, because there were several. But moving on from that, we are into the Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups was, again, in the far, right beside the Ace of Pentacles. I'll just do another quick turn over there. So the Knight of Cups is in the corner there on the horse. And that one speaks to, again, knights are news coming in. And again, it's clarified with the Eight of Swords. Eights are about moving past an obstacle. That Eight of Swords is also about a self-imposed, self-sacrificing kind of situation. So it's really about you sabotaging yourself. Much like the Nine of Swords down here, because one was a progression to the other. It's just about nagging thoughts, things that might have kept you up at night. Feeling lonely or having regrets and worrying and doubting something, thinking that you've got some kind of shortcoming or something to overcome. But again, it's just about that time to refocus is really what it is. So even though with the Eight of Swords, that was telling you that you are moving into a, period of self-sabotage and doubting yourself, you move past it, because even though you're still wrestling with it toward the end of April with the Nine of Swords, just you being wrapped up in your own problems, whatever the mental aspect was for you, but you are overcoming it, as I said, because it's about you going into those depths of emotion and pain has led you to find some kind of new release on life. You're getting over some kind of depression, over some kind of grief, something that caused you a lot of anxiety, some kind of inner torture that you're doing to yourself. It's a psychological threat of sorts. So again, 9 is about action and the courage and being defensive, but you're moving past it. That's what the 9s represent there. And again, even with that Knight of Cups, back over here, with the Knight of Cups, it did also indicate that you had, I guess it's too hard to pull those cards forward for you to see, but you also had the Five of Wands and Temperance following that to clarify. So the Five of Wands is, again, just about you with that inner battle, just doing a lot of soul searching here in the month of April, but you're definitely coming out 10 times stronger for doing it. So, that That Five of Wands, again, with the Eight of Swords, and then the Temperance following, is just about, Temperance is about being patient. Let the universe guide you. Things are being synchronized. Things are being lined up to help you to get through whatever this issue is. So moving on, we've only got a couple more cards left, 2 more cards. And that would be the Six of Pentacles. So the Six of Pentacles is up here. And again, that one is about money for sure, and it is about success in money. Again, I'm not seeing whopping amounts of cash coming through here, but I am feeling a strong sense of stability and you about to take control of your life and move forward in a really courageous way. So something is definitely, surging through here. So something is brewing. It's not just you maintaining. You are actually making some kind of huge change. You're about to make a huge change. So the Six of Pentacles, again, speaks of that loss, gain. It can also speak to, new levels of understanding as well. But I feel that it's more, when it's clarified with the Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles, it's still about you finding balance here. So you're still trying to stabilize over something, but it is about giving and receiving and trust issues. It's also about that, sharing of the wealth, sharing of yourself, or somebody sharing with you. It can be money coming in as well, and again, maybe you're sharing it with somebody else or vice versa. But, again, it's one of those cards that lets you know that being open to receive is very important, because you're hanging on very tightly for control here with the Four of Pentacles. And I just feel that there might be some kind of you blocking receiving. And I don't know if that's related to money so much as it is you being blocked, maybe even emotionally on some level here because of this control card. But you're hanging on really tight to something, whether it's money or whether it's some kind of control that you feel you need to remain stable. And again, there is the Page of Pentacles here also. And sometimes that can even speak to, it's going to go back to the Six of Pentacles, can even speak to some kind of a raise or bonus of some sort. But again, I don't see a lot of victory cards or anything around there to really support that. But anyway, moving on, Page of Pentacles, and of course the 9. This is about new learning, new opportunities coming through, and, diligence, perseverance, that kind of thing. But you also have the 9 of, it's clarified by the 9 of Pentacles, and also clarified by, sorry, I'll try to get that card out here. It's also clarified by the Five of Cups. So the Five of Cups really speaks to you feeling like you've got some kind of a loss going on there. You're feeling a little victimized, but you do come out on top, because the Nine of Pentacles is about that feeling of independence and accomplishment and self-reliance. You're feeling you've got some self-discipline, and you've got security here with the Nine of Pentacles. So, it's also speaking to heightened awareness. So again, lots of that coming through. And then, as I said, with the Page of Pentacles, that was the message that's coming through as well, about getting practical, keeping some balance, and again, it's just a strong commitment financially to make happen what you want to happen. It's that windows of opportunity, new courses of study. It's about those material matters, loans, applications, can speak to inheritance, but again, I don't see loads of cards supporting that, but it's just being overall some kind of master teachers, some kind of, it's a 2, so it's about balancing karmic situations. It's about, climbing that mountain of success, but not giving up, so keep the faith, really, with that card. And again, with the Five of Cups, it's just about you. It's not really something that's heavily manifesting, but it's just about you still stuck up in your head, feeling that you're unloved, or that there's, some kind of sacrifice or disappointment or something that has led you to feel. Actually, that is also a card of inheritance, so it could even speak to a little bit of that. But, and that would be still toward the end of April. But again, that is that card of sadness, feeling sad momentarily, feeling that you need to protect yourself. You're focusing a little too much on the negative, but you are independent here financially, and there is lots of stability. And again, there's a lot of male energy coming through here with this reading. So again, very positive reading, super powerful. You really have some really strong energy here, Aries. and it's just about putting it out into the world in a really constructive way. And now that you are divinely enlightened and very strongly connected, you'll be even more powerful to make changes in your life as well as others. So hopefully that resonated with some of you. And again, that was for Aries for the month of April, and that's for 2020, career and finance. See you in May.